So the last part of our trip took us up to the north coast of Ireland. So we got on our bus, took a 2-hour drive up. Our first stop there was Portstewart Golf Links. We played the Strand course there, hosted the Irish Open in 2017 when a young John Rahm was the winner there. It was a really enjoyable course. It has two kind of distinct separate nines. The first nine going through some massive dunes. The second nine kind of more calm, more benign on the riverfront there. So let's head out to the first tee and show you all about Portstewart. You know, when you step onto the first tee of the Strand course at Portstewart, you're in for a special treat. If there was one moment on this trip that made me really appreciate where I was, it was probably this sunset over the dunes at Portstewart after our round. So after 4 rounds of golf in 4 days and still fighting off probably a little bit of jet lag, and fighting off a little bit of body aches and body pains, we decided to take a day off of golf and do some sightseeing of the northern part of Ireland there. So I'm going to take you along with us, and we thought that it would be a little bit lighter day on our feet. We're not walking a golf course, but we probably did more steps on the sightseeing day than we did on any golf course. So I don't know if it was really a rest day, but it was a beautiful day to check out some sights around the north part of Ireland. So come on and let's go check out some sights. Our first stop took us to White Park Bay. There's usually more cows than people on the beach at White Park Bay, and the beach is closed for swimming because of the riptides, which is okay because that water looks pretty chilly. Our next stop took us to the Carrick-Reid Rope Bridge. The bridge spans about 65 feet and is 100 feet above the water and the rocks below. Of course, we walked across it, but the thing they don't tell you, it's also the only way back. After conquering the bridge, it was time for some well-earned lunch at Fullerton Arms, which has Game of Thrones door number 6. After lunch, we went down the street to visit the Dark Hedges, also known as King's Road to Game of Thrones fans. And our final stop on the sightseeing tour for the day was the Giant's Causeway. The Giant's Causeway was rated as the 4th best natural wonder in the United Kingdom, and was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1986. The result of ancient volcanic fissure eruptions, the Giant's Causeway has about 40,000 basalt columns. Part of our tour included a Bushmills distillery tasting. They called it Whiskey on the Rocks, which, do you get it? Do you get it? On the way into Portrush, we passed by Dunluce Castle, which lends its name to the championship links at Royal Portrush Golf Club. And then just a little further down the road, we caught a glimpse of the links that we'll be tackling in just a few short days. And if you're a golf fan, you gotta go check out the Harbor Bar. The Glashidi Links gets its name from the Glashidi Rock overlooking the course, which you get your first look at hole 5. Here comes the crossroads. Are you going to continue on to hole 12 or just loop back to the clubhouse? We decided to keep going to hole 12 because, look at these views. So our next stop, as you can see after our sightseeing day, was to Ballyliffin, and we played the Glashidi Links there, which is named after a rock, the Glashidi Rock that you can kind of see off the coast there on many, many holes. And I think it's probably featured in a lot of these videos and pictures because it's just so scenic and beautiful. It felt good to be back on the golf course. Ballyliffin's a great golf course. Just showed you my favorite hole, hole 13. It's an uphill par 5. Into the wind. It's brute. I mean, it's short. It's only like 484 from the tees that we played, but it's a monster uphill and into the wind. And I took kind of a circuitous route, let's say, to experience that golf hole. So let's take a look at the yardage book, show you how I played it, and see if it's pretty good or mediocre at best. All right, tee shot, straight duck hook into the fescue on the left-hand side. Let's hope we can find it. Found it and just had to do a little punch out back to the fairway. Follow that up with a great 3-wood up the hill into the wind on the green and a 2-putt par. It's an easy game. After the 18th, there's only one place to go, and that's back into the clubhouse. Time to add them all up, and, at least I won the Guinness game. All right, this was the moment we were all waiting for. Royal Portrush Golf Club. It is just as good as everyone says it is. It's awesome. And it's an open championship course. How often do you get to play an open championship golf course? Not that often. And if we're going to experience an open championship golf course on our last day of the trip, let's get some conditions out there. And we, I guess, lucked out, if you want to say that, with conditions. It was starting to about 20-mile-an-hour winds, misty, spritzy, kind of all on and off all day, gusting up to 40 throughout the day. So it was a brute, but it was awesome. Let's head out to the golf course and see how it is. fifth green takes you to the shoreline where you can get a glimpse of the Dunluce Castle in the distance. When you're playing an open championship course in 25 to 30 mile an hour winds, you stop at the halfway house. The golf gods have a cruel sense of humor because just as I said it's windy, I think they turned the fan on even more. All right, hole 16, Royal Portrush, Calamity Corner. Let's just pause for a minute and talk about this freaking golfer because it's a freaking monster. It's the brick 236. We played it from the tee closer, a little friendlier 222 yards. Into the wind, in the misty rainstorm, we were playing closest to the pin on all the par threes that day, and if anybody in our group put that ball on the green, I think they were probably lying. Let us see how I do on my attempt at a tee shot here at Calamity Corner. I think we earned all of our post-round points, but this one just tasted a wee bit better after these conditions. And that's it. That is our trip. We sunk the last putt at Royal Portrush. Granted, it was about 3 feet, but we sunk our putt on 18. And that's all that matters. 6 rounds of golf, sightseeing tour in 7 days in one of the most beautiful countries and places in the world. And if I had to sum up this entire golf trip and kind of one overarching thought, it would be this. Yeah, our scores were probably a little higher than we wanted to. Hit the golf ball a few more times than we wanted to, but that doesn't matter. The time walking up and down the fairways and the fescues of some of the greatest golf courses on this planet, and doing it with good friends is what matters. Just the experience of the golf courses, of the towns, of the villages, of the post-round pints, all those things coming together to make Ireland such a special place and such an awesome destination for golf. So thanks for coming along with me, and until next time, stay out of the drop zone.